AVAX continues to set all-time highs. In this video, we're going to dive down into the technical analysis on Avalanche to see exactly what we might expect to see happen next. Guys, as we get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right. With all that said, done, and out of the way, let's jump on down to the desktop and take a look at what is going on here with AVAX. Okay guys, so we're going to start things off by taking a look at that weekly chart. Okay, it's important that we acknowledge that the overall trend is looking very good. It's very healthy, despite some of the recent climate. So obviously AVAX has not been affected as anywhere near kind of to the same degree that we've seen many of the other altcoins, in terms of when Bitcoin did pull back, and still looking quite volatile. So right now we can acknowledge that AVAX is performing incredibly well. We obviously have very limited amount of data here on Binance, but we can of course just grab this and show you that we have about 420 days worth of data, basically from week commencing the 21st of September. Basically, this is a downtrend of the time. Basically coming in, and then we started to see a good spike towards the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021. Obviously, this spiked up quite nicely. We got an all-time high at that particular time of $60.30. And then we started trading sideways and we pulled back down. And again, this was basically when Bitcoin was at like 65K going down to 28K, right? So we have a good trend to the downside here. And then most recently, we've started to spike up. Now, what we've done here is we've taken into consideration this low point here, the high point that we have up here, and the low point down here. We take into consideration those three trends, okay? The downtrend, the uptrend, and then the downtrend again, okay? And this helps us understand whether or not, or more specifically, where things are likely to go in the next push to the upside, okay? Because everything kind of moves in waves. At least that's what we kind of follow on this channel, Elliott theory, and impulsive waves, corrective waves, etc. Right? So that's kind of what we like to monitor on the channel. And so we can acknowledge that this is not necessarily an easy to spot impulsive move, but it is impulsive following the rest of the trend that is also following the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves. So let me just clean this up a little bit and I'll show you what I mean. Here we obviously have the what would be wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and we're looking for wave 5. Okay, so when we follow these kind of trends, obviously there's waves within waves, and different timelines have different kind of waves as well. We'll get into a little bit of that as time progresses here. But basically, we are looking to track quite nicely to the upside. And so, as I said, we take that low point, we take that high point, we take that low point, and this shows us with a 4.236 extension at $254.18. That is where things are trending right now. With all that said, however, it's important that we acknowledge that this particular run that we've seen from the low areas down here of July, this is a shift and a change. The Avalanche team are doing a bit more above and beyond, what they were doing previously. There's a fundamental shift here as well. They're doing a lot more marketing. So again, the expectations of trying to pinpoint for the 4.236 at $254 at this point might actually be the wrong approach, because yes, we are following the 5 impulsive moves. We could also be looking for a short corrective and then another impulsive move back to the upside. Okay, and this could be the fact that the protocol itself is trying to really get behind the momentum that's currently sat there, and we're trying to push things further forward. And this is not what we were seeing with this downtrend in wave 2, the uptrend in wave 3, or the downtrend in wave 4. This is a different scenario, so the trends could also be affected by it. We only say this because, yes, we can see the 4.236 from a technical point of view at $254, but there's a high possibility that actually it goes much higher than this, because we've had that fundamental shift and some actual interest in the protocol above and beyond what was happening previously. So if we were to just repeat what was happening over this end of the chart, over here, then you would be aiming for that 254. But as I said, they've changed and things could actually spike up higher. So we'll watch that, but we want to be conservative as well. So again, we'll acknowledge that, yes, we can push up, but we should also acknowledge that, $254 is also a pretty good target, okay? Now, Again, if you've been following the channel for a while, we've been talking about AVAX for quite some time, and we want to be conservative as well. So we take into consideration just one pullback. This actually shows us basically at 225. Okay, so $225, a little bit shallower than that 254, but again, a conservative model. This is based on just the correction when we actually reached the I think it was $60.30, and we pulled down all the way to the low areas of June, July, right? This double tap down here. Okay, so when we actually take that into consideration, we have a 4.236 extension of basically 225. So we can manage those expectations a little bit. Obviously, we have continued to set all-time highs today, and we're on that journey up to that 2.618, which comes in at $142. We can see on the stochastic RSI, we actually had the pullback and the correction of the stochastic, losing momentum. Yet we're still gaining some price discovery. So when we throw that volume on here, you can see good volume coming in over this end, just over here. We can see we had that pull back right in this section over here, which was basically October and September. And then obviously we're starting to see some interesting volumes start to rise up as well as we start to push this up. Now that stochastic has come down out of the overbought area, and we can come right back up here again, something that we've seen previously, specifically in this run from late July into August. So overall, the weekly chart's actually looking very, very good. Again, still following the same impulsive moves that we've been talking about previously, except we obviously get a bit of a deeper view of the different areas, the different waves, and the different kind of counts that we can do in here. Okay, so again, we're still looking very, very good. We had this ABC, and this ABC here on this daily chart would then look to be impulsive, which is what we're getting right now with this next leg to the upside. Okay, so actually what we're looking at here is more of a... I'm not sure if the 3-day chart might be a better one to kind of show it. Let me see if I can just pull that up for a second. Let me just go with 3 and days. We'll just add that in there and we'll show it. So here you can see a little bit more clearly what's been going on most recently, right? So basically we pushed up after this ABC move. We pushed up here. Again, this was... basically, yeah, I'd say that's an ABC. Then we pulled down, and then we started to get some traction. So big A, a B, and then a C, right? So if I actually grab hold of this, I'll show you what I mean. Here's your A, here's your B, and then we're looking for that C, right? And what we're trying to do is actually measure the distance of our wave A, okay? And then we go ahead and move that that distance over to our wave B, and then obviously we look for pushing the candles past that 1.382. That triggers it as an impulsive move rather than corrective, right? So it's not an A, B, C, but instead a 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we actually have 1, 2, 3. We'll look for the pullback, okay, and this actual pullback has to be lower than or higher than wave 1. So we'll pull that probably to the 1.618, and then we look to take that next wave count to the upside, okay? So it's not corrective, it's impulsive, which is fantastic to see here on this daily chart. So we are looking to pull back, okay? Nothing moves up in straight lines forever. So we are expecting a little bit of red. This would actually allow us to correct our stochastic RSI a little bit and before we continue that growth to the upside and talk about moving up to the 5th wave. Now, this does mean that there's an opportunity, right? As long as wave 4 stays above wave 1, this is the opportunity to get into the market and push up, right? And this normally would retrace. So once we start actually seeing the top of wave 3 here, we'll basically know whether or not, or we'll know exactly kind of where we were expecting it to pull back to. That would be the 618, okay? So we'll be looking for that pullback towards that 618, potentially the 786, but we'll have to monitor that depending on what else is going on in the space at the time. Small pullback, and then a launch for the 5th wave. So if you're wanting to get into AVAX, I do anticipate a pullback. That pullback is going to be the opportunity to then catch this 5th wave to the upside, okay? So everything's looking pretty good from that daily chart perspective, right? But let's jump on over to the advice.io dashboard. Now, advice.io, they use artificial intelligence to help us understand the underlying value of cryptocurrencies, right? And in this case, we're taking a look at AVAX, and basically it's a B1 rating overall. So across all the metrics, it's come back as a B1 rating. We can go into a little bit more detail, right? And we had ratio, here's a C2. So there is some liquidity based problems. Obviously, with the price moving up quite significantly, this could be that 1 or 2 exchanges have not got enough volume to actually fulfill those orders. Maybe they're taking a bit of time, and there's some liquidity based problems there. So do monitor that situation with a bit of caution. And depending on what exchanges you're going to, that could be centralized, it could be decentralized. decentralized. The advice.io platform here isn't exactly clear on what the liquidity problem is, but it is identifying a problem with liquidity. Okay, so we need to be aware of that. The fear and greed index is a B1, so that's pretty neutral. It's not fearful, it's not greedy, and this actually can allow it to go in either direction. So we have to be mindful that the market could also think about, pulling back a little bit, taking some profits, although normally you would see that under a greedy scenario rather than a neutral scenario. But it is very possible that it can go in either direction. It can get very, very FOMO led and get greedy very quickly, but could also pull back a little bit as well. So right now, neutral, not too bad. We can continue the way we are, and it's not a problem. Okay, but when it does go into the greedy section and start to rise those ranks up, then we should be expecting some profits to be taken. Okay, that's kind of a standard thing to expect. Now, the Sharpe ratio is an A2 rating. So basically, this Sharpe ratio is your risk-reward ratio. Right now, we're hovering just above the 50-day average, and this is indicating that the rewards outweigh the risks, and therefore exposure might not be a bad idea. Okay, and the second that this starts to actually get a reversal, then you obviously want to be starting to consider maybe time to get out of the market and get in at a later stage. Okay. So obviously Avalanche's moving averages are looking pretty good at an A2 rating, and the profitability is right up there as an A1. So overall, the artificial intelligence is actually looking pretty good. It's saying there's some promise here with the Sharpe ratio. The rewards do outweigh the risks at the moment. But do be aware that there is some liquidity-based problems that could be centralized or decentralized exchanges. And of course, that neutral position could change quite rapidly. So do watch out for that one. Other than that, no problems to kind of report. So when we jump back into the charts and we take a look at this, we are expecting that pullback with wave 4, but it is indicating that that might be not happening just yet. Maybe this has a little bit further to ride up before we do see that pullback. So again, we don't know where the top of 3 is just yet. It has gone impulsive, so it has pushed past some of the most common areas of the ABC. So now we wait and see how that one kind of plots out. Now, when we jump down into our hourly chart, okay, this is where we start to see a lot more of that traction and that kind of push to the upside. There was another or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulsive move there before we had a correction and then pushed up again. But again, if we actually take a look at this, we can see a lot more waves and a lot more wave counts. Right here, we can see on the smaller time frame right now, this is very impulsive, right? And you can see that we're coming to the end of this impulsive move, right? Here's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we're coming to the end of that impulsive move. So we are looking for a reversal. You can see this inside that stochastic RSI as well as it starts to peak out just up here. We can also throw the volumes in, and you can start to see the volume drop back. This is going to be an indication of plateauing as well. And again, this will then be led by an ABC correction to the downside on this smaller time scale. Okay, so we do look out for these things as well. Okay, then after this ABC, we'll see if they get another impulsive move to the upside. Again, this ABC is very much in line with our expectations of our 4th wave correction. Okay, this could be a series of ABC moves that actually equate to a much bigger 3-day chart A, B, and C move to complete this 4th wave correction. Okay, you might end up with a whole host of these little mini waves inside here and just kind of plotting out what's going on. So let me just pull that back up into shape there. Okay, so do be aware that there's going to be a lot of noise on these smaller time frames, but in the bigger picture, it all kind of comes together and we can see where we are heading. So we are looking for that after completing this move here, after an ABC to the downside here, ABC up, ABC down, and then triggered an impulsive move to the upside. Lots of waves inside here, guys. Really can be quite noisy. So it's important that you kind of maybe if you're new to kind of counting the wave counts and all those kind of good things, that actually you might want to stick to the larger time frames where it's easier to kind of see the waves to start with. And once you get used to it, you'll be able to see all these various different waves as they are occurring. And here you can see that impulsive move that we had up here as well before we got that ABC. So overall, Avalanche and AVAX is actually looking very, very good. We complete this move up here, this AB or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll look for that ABC move to the downside on the bigger time frame, which will be made up of lots of little moves here on this hourly chart. Guys, I am going to leave the video there. If you have found this video useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.